You go to the bathroom and you go, I look kind of good today, especially in this mirror. You know what? I'm gonna use toilet paper sparingly. It's no secret that people want to feel attractive. It's the reason why the health and beauty industries have made trillions of dollars from our need to look and feel hot. Life is easier in many ways for the conventionally attractive. They're seen as kinder, happier, and more successful. Now, this is often not the case. But what if I told you that simply feeling attractive could make you a better, more generous person? I'm Harris, and I share and simplify interesting research in psychology, and this is the psychology of attractiveness and generosity. A new paper came out a few months ago, and it wanted to investigate how feeling about yourself, specifically how attractive you think you are, affects you in doing good things for others, and why this might happen. The researchers had a theory and they wanted to test it out. They thought that if you feel attractive, you're more likely to do good things, but only because you have this self-conscious perception that people are noticing you now because you are feeling more attractive, and you want to manage people's expectations of yourself and look good in their eyes. So you do good things. But if no one is watching, then this feeling of attractiveness has no effect on doing good things. Now, this is a very complicated and interesting theory, but it makes sense on the surface. If you feel attractive yourself, you're going to think that other people are going to pay more attention to you. If other people are going to pay more attention to you, you're going to want to show them that, you're not a bad person. In fact, you want to show them that you are a good person. So therefore, you're more likely to do good things. But this is the caveat for the researchers: if your actions are anonymous and you know they are, then the extra feelings of attractiveness isn't going to make any difference. And based on your attractiveness linking to how you think other people will feel, that kind of makes sense. The researchers designed 4 studies to test this theory, and the first pair of studies, we'll call them study 1A and 1B, they tested the direct relationship between feeling attractive and doing good things. Participants were assigned to a feeling attractive and control group. In the feeling attractive condition, the participants were asked to write things that made them feel good about themselves, that made them feel why they were attractive. And in the control condition, participants were asked to write what they did over the past week. Next, the participants were asked to do good things. In study 1A, the participants were asked to donate to a good cause. In study 1B, the participants were asked to participate in a charitable survey. And the results showed that participants who felt more attractive were more likely to donate money and participate in the charitable surveys. So far, so good. So in the second study, the researchers wanted to see how taking photos of yourself affected your feelingness of attractiveness with different filters. So there were 3 conditions. There was a filter that made you look more attractive, a filter that made you look less attractive, and a normal no filter camera. And participants were randomly assigned to each of these groups. After they took these photos, the participants were tested on their willingness to donate to a charitable cause. And the results showed that participants who were in the filter that made them look better, that made them feel more attractive, were more likely and more willing to donate to a charitable cause. And in this study, they also asked participants whether they felt more self-conscious about their appearance and whether they were more aware of what people thought of them. And these participants said yes, they were more self-conscious about their appearance and more aware and concerned about what people would think about them. And in contrast, the groups with no filter and a filter that made you look less attractive had no effect on willingness to donate or self-consciousness and motivation to manage your self-perception. That's interesting. But again, so far so good. Let's move on. Okay, so in the third and final study, the researchers did the same thing they did in study 1A, but added a privacy condition. In one of the groups, the participants who wrote positive stuff down to make them feel more attractive, they were told that whatever they do, their actions will be anonymous. No one would know that they would do them. And in the other group, there was no mention of this at all. When the participants were told that all their actions were going to be anonymous, all of the doing good stuff that they did before completely disappeared compared to the control group. So essentially, despite feeling more attractive, they weren't more willing to do more good stuff because no one was going to see them. And that's because they were more self-conscious about others and they were managing their appearance, and that's why they were doing good stuff. But because their actions were anonymous, they were like, we don't need to do this anymore. Just to summarize all this, feeling more attractive can make you do more good things by feeling self-conscious about how others view you and the desire to manage that and look good in other people's eyes. But feeling attractive may not make you do good things if it's made apparent to you that your actions are anonymous. But if it's unclear whether your actions are anonymous, most people will generally do the good thing. This is so interesting and has a lot of interesting implications as well, which we'll get into now, actually. Now, there's a lot of different ways to motivate people to do good stuff. Often you can guilt people into doing good things, but if there's a way to influence positive behavior by making people feel good about themselves at the same time, that could be more powerful. Now, there is a general perception that doing good and looking good go on opposite sides of the spectrum, where people who look good, are attractive, can be viewed as vain, shallow, and have poor moral character, which may or may not be true. I don't know. But all of those studies look at things from the observer's perspective, from other people judging the attractive people. Whereas this study looks at things from the perception of the person who thinks about themselves and whether they think they're attractive. An interesting wrinkle to the story. The researchers had some, implications of their own, their practical implications, and one of the paragraphs was quite funny. And it said, and I quote, "Image-enhancing mirrors, monitors, and face recognition equipment should be adopted in public areas where a certain public order, like waiting in a queued bus stop or obeying traffic signals or talking quietly in a restaurant, needs to be maintained, particularly when individuals may not be under direct supervision." I mean, that could work, but, adding more monitoring in our society, we'll see how that goes. Image-enhancing mirrors? Yeah, maybe. If one mirror makes you look good and another mirror makes you look crap, then that could really screw up your day on a regular basis. But anyway, let's continue. Letting people see an attractive version of themselves in public areas will encourage them to adhere to social norms and act accordance with societal expectations. That is a bit of a stretch, but they could, maybe, who knows, even when their behavior may not be noticed by others. Well, this is saying exactly the opposite of what your study found, so I don't know what the point of that part of the sentence was. Okay, for instance, installing image-enhancing mirrors in public bathrooms may help people maintain a clean bathroom and use toilet paper cautiously without waste. Okay, you see yourself, you go to the bathroom and you go, I look kind of good today, especially in this mirror. You know what? I'm going to use toilet paper sparingly. Look, I understand that when you publish these papers, you have to really bolster your findings and make them look like they're going to change the world. And I mean, they're certainly trying to do that here. So I applaud them for this. And look, even though these implications are far-fetched, it's the theory I think still stands, and it'll be good to see more research on this and how we feel about ourselves can affect how we do good stuff. And I think this is a good start of research like this, and I think it is a positive thing. If you feel good about yourself, you're going to want to do good things for others, and this is one way of doing that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing if you're concerned about how others view you, and that concern about people's opinion and view of you makes you do good things. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the only thing that's concerning is when you get self-conscious about your appearance way too much, to the point that the feeling of attractiveness seems sort of artificially generated, and when you notice that can have a negative impact on you. There's a couple things that I want to address in terms of the limitations of this paper, and the biggest one, and I think this is the main and biggest one, is that a lot of the studies were self-report, meaning that they asked participants how much they would be willing to donate. They didn't actually do an experiment of donations and see how that would work. Asking what people would do versus actually seeing people's behavior are two different things. So still, this is good. This research is relatively robust, but you have to remember that it's about what people think that they will do. When it actually comes down to doing stuff, people might do things differently. So if there's more research on this that can look at actual experiments, that can test people's behavior and whether it's affected by how they feel about themselves and whether feeling attractive will actually make them do the thing, now that will be interesting to find out. But in any case, let me ask you, how do you feel? When you feel good about yourself, do you think you do good things? Do you think you're a better person? If you are a better person, a good person would like and subscribe to this channel. Like this video, subscribe, because I know you're a good person and you are so incredibly attractive. Just let me tell you, you look amazing today. All right, that's it. I'm Harris, and I'll see you again next time.